Where are you with shadow work?
My only advice with regard to shadow work is accept anything that comes. Don't go searching for it necessarily. I mean, you can if you want, but you'll never find an end to it. The search just amplifies the search.
Hmm.
And so whatever arrives here, deal with that. Deal with whatever is arising here. And if you want to call it shadow work, that's fine. If you can call it anything you want. But here is the only gateway.
And of course, it's here that we're dealing with. Is that a generator just kicked on? Is that creating a lot of noise for you? I can move.
I don't hear anything.
Okay, good. Um, so shadow work is where you actually try and kick it up, and it bubbles up, and you start seeing through filters that are running in your personality that were running unconsciously, subconsciously, like sucking up energy and actually sort of forming a personality.
Hmm.
But if it's an area you're not, you don't feel
Well,
comfortable.
if
That's
no, I feel comfortable with anything that's actually here. All I'm saying is that a search perpetuates the search. It's kind of like the seeker amplifies seeking. And so if you identify as a seeker or a spiritual person on the path, you're going to attract more seeking and more personalities on the path. And so
right.
all that you don't have to burn through every shadow that you think you can kick up. I'm not talking about spiritual bypassing here. That is different, but I am talking about one pure and simple glimpse right now can help you dissolve a lot of shadows because it just amplifies the light that's looking.
Hmm.
And a lot
Okay,
of dust bunnies just fucking evaporate when that happens.
they do.
And so that would be the mode that I would encourage
Okay.
is actually just instead of there's a lot of spiritual practices, as I've said. This is the direct path. And the direct path does solve a lot of these personality conflicts, this shadow work, or these personality structures that have been unquestioned. That's good to do, but also understand what all of this is happening within, all of this is made of, whether it's a conscious identity structure or a shadow structure. It's still made of the same thing.
Yes.
This is the direct path. This is not winding, turning, twisting.
Mhm.
If you want the truth is right here.
And
And
I guess, do you have more? That
I would just say that the shadows are part of this too. There is nothing that actually obscures this. Everything is made of this. When people say even my mind gets in the way of this, my mind is too active. Your mind and the activity of mind is still just a vibration of this. It's an
Mhm.
activity of this. So I wouldn't push anything away. That's why this isn't spiritual bypassing. This is accepting everything that's here as this. That's why the saints, when it's been said at least, that when you truly get here, you see everything as the face of God.
Mhm.
And that's just the fact, including the shadow,
Yes.
including what, could religiously be termed demons. These are faces of God. All of this is.
Mhm.
Everything is one thing. It's made of one thing. And that is what you essentially are, right here, whether you think it is or not. Yeah, I encourage everybody to just follow the path that seems intuitive for them. Like if the path of shadow work it like is relevant for you, it feels relevant here and now in this moment, then do
Yeah,
it. That's what you should be doing. But
no.
to think that you need to go about an agenda that isn't that's prescribed to you either by somebody else or by your mind isn't dealing with the now. I always point to deal with now. What's relevant right
you know.
now? What's here?
So
What's here and what knows?
we don't have to think about what we should do or not do because there is nobody. There is only awareness. There is no. no Eva and no Chris. There is only the awareness of it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
If you can sit in that as that, this peace that I'm talking about, this contentment, this joy, this happiness will
Yeah.
pervade your
You
being.
know. Yes, thank you, Chris. You helped me a lot on my way.
Good. Thank
Also,
you.
yes.
Yeah. I hope to speak more with you, Ava. Thank you for joining. Does anybody else have a question? Oh, Melody, should we jump back to you?
Okay. Yeah. I've actually been working on shadow work lately. Uh, be just because I had a lot of reactivity still coming up. So it seemed right. Like what was I reacting to and stuff. So that's why I'm doing the shadow work. But it did get me thinking right now. I have to look into if I guess I feel I need to do shadow work because that's going to clear things for me, and I'll be able to stay uh, curb down the reactivity, and I guess stay anchored in awareness, even though I know it's always here. But I'm getting used to, I guess, moving in and out of like. I understand thoughts aren't bad. They're everything's here. Everything's part of this, right? At first I thought it was like silos, or I didn't think you're supposed to have thoughts, but no, I understand like everything is supposed to be here. And I love, yeah, don't search for shadows. Yeah, that does, it may amplify it. But things, I guess if I'm getting stuck and I still have some sticky thoughts, that's causing reactivity, that's the stuff I'm trying to tackle or I don't know, try to work through, right? So I'm not so emotional. I guess I am supposed to be. I don't. Any emotions that come up, come up. I'm not used to feeling my emotions, and now I'm feeling every single emotion I think I've ever had,
That's
like
good.
24/7, and I'm allowing it, and I'm not distracting. But at the same time, I'm like Gary, and I just talked about this on an earlier call. Like I'm an open wound right now. I feel
Mhm.
like, so it's just new. This feeling's new to me, So just trying to stick with it.
Yeah, it sounds like you're experiencing the rawness of just
Yes.
open presence, which is
Yeah.
it's a great place to be, and it can feel raw. It can feel like you're being rubbed raw, but
Yeah.
but that's what you want, right? I mean, what you want is to accelerate this quote unquote spiritual journey, and that's what
Yeah.
you're doing by just being pure allowance, pure presence, pure awareness. That can allow the floodgates to open, especially if there were suppressed energies, suppressed thoughts, suppressed feelings in your past, your childhood, whatever it was, maybe even a past life. And now, for the first time, you're allowing this pure, open, wide presence to just allow anything that flows through to flow through. And so a lot's rushing through for you right now. Under,
Yeah.
understand that it won't always be like that.
Okay.
When
That's,
when a dam first breaks, there is a violent rush, and that rush can go on for a little while. And that sounds like what you're experiencing, but
yeah.
it will subside, and it will subside more and more if you can clarify what exactly is here. You said you kind of gave up on searching for shadows, which is
Oh,
a
no, no. I don't know if I gave up, but I was thinking now that I heard you, like, I'm like, oh, I scheduled that appointment and doing IFS work with some sticky stuff that's coming up.
and
But
that could be
oh,
good.
it's only stuff, the sticky stuff. But yeah, I gotta watch not searching now. Like I
Yeah.
gotta watch. That's something I think I might do.
Anything
I'm
that feels
doing.
relevant for you, that feels good for
Yeah.
you, trust it.
Okay.
Trust it.
Okay.
You can do that. I'm not telling you to avoid
Uh,
anything. I'm just
okay.
saying I'm just saying deal mostly with what's here, what feels real and here right now,
Mhm.
and clarify what is here. You already acknowledge that it's just awareness and that
Mhm.
everything is a vibration, an oscillation, a movement, a coloring of that awareness. If you
Mhm.
can just stabilize as the awareness, regardless of what's moving within it, you'll find the peace.
And and right now I just did it again, and I'm good. I could get to this. place. It's just staying, or I don't know. I know I'm always here, but I feel it's the reactivity, I think, takes me from being centered or feeling like this. I don't know.
You're just focusing on the content of awareness. And so the more you can kind of zoom back and no longer focus on the content of awareness, but just on the substance of awareness itself in this present moment, this peace will start flooding in.
Mhm. Thank you for telling me it will eventually subside, or because the rawness, I'm like, oh man, how much longer can I'll just sometimes, how much longer can I take this? Like those are thoughts. Apparently, as long as life decides to give it to me, that's how long I'm going to take it.
Have the attitude that whatever comes is a face of God, a face of this, a face of the divine, an oscillation of this divine presence that you've been searching for perhaps lifetimes. And as you accept it as that, you'll form a more harmonious relationship with it. Don't see this tumultuousness that's flowing through your experience as some sort of negative thing that needs to be cleared out, because that's pushing it away.
Okay.
And that's creating more suffering and more fear, and an amplification of the experience of a rushing or a flowing or a breaking. There's something here that never moves, regardless of the movement within it. You are that.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, and if you ever want to, work through some of these things, I know we've had, a one-on-one before in which we've worked through some of these things, but well, I'm not always available, but when I'm available, I'm always available.
Yeah, I actually just checked your channel because I do check, but I know you're out and about with the critters. I don't know. You have lots of critters you work with. But I literally the day before, and then the next day I got your email. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So yeah.
Glad it worked
Right.
out.
Thanks.
Of course. If you found this video helpful, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing. Thank you. All my love.